Everybody. This is 1,243. 1,243 days, making sure everything is working. Um, let's see here. Getting on Facebook right now, seeing if everyone is on Facebook. I just want to wish everybody a happy Rose Sunday. Um, this is the third Sunday in Advent, and we call it Rose Sunday in the Anglican Church. And so some of my favorite hymns are played during this Sunday because it reminds me of my Omi, my grandmother. So this is called, let's see, I'm on. It's live, making sure. Okay, so I can see everybody now if you make a comment. So today is 1,243, and I want to address, first of all, something that was sent to me quite a bit. Quite a number of Team Find Richard Halliday members are concerned about the scandal going on in Washington, D.C. Well, in the United States, right? The scandal about the Hart Senate office pornography production, sex cult pornography production that the pictures have been released on them. And my first thoughts on that is that they were given permission. Okay. They were given permission. Do not tell me after January 6th, um, after all of that haboo, January 6th, um, those buildings are secure. And we know by the footage of January 6th that those that have been put in prison, a lot of them, were invited in, not only invited into the Capitol building, and I know the Senate, the Hart, Hart, is that a coincidence that it's the same as Dallas Hart and Leilani Hart? Um, I'm sure it's such a coincidence. I'm sure it's such a coincidence that August 3rd is Dallas Hart's birthday, the same day that an orchestrated, planned political attack was perpetrated on the El Pasoans and the surrounding area peoples in a Walmart there. Absolutely, that's what I believe, by a patsy, and that's not my words. That is a different, uh, it's what some people have called him, a patsy called Patrick Crucius. And I think it's absolutely disgusting because he does have autism and he was used. He was used. He was manipulated. Is he guilty? He is found guilty and is sentenced to 90 life sentences back to back in prison for what he did. Okay, for what he did. What I'm telling you is that he did not just pull that off on his own, in my opinion. Um, so, is it all a coincidence? Um, oh yeah, I'm sure it all is, right? Everything has to be a coincidence. But this whole sex scandal, this sex cult, and everyone has to understand that it is a sex cult and pornography. All pornography is child sex trafficking. All of it. All of it. Okay? Because these children are exploited and they are groomed up into adulthood to do what they're doing. Okay? And that was not me. That was an explanation by Ye, right? By Ye. He explained that. And, and I don't really even follow him. I really don't follow his music. But I saw this short interview. It was just mesmerizing what he was saying because there was so much truth there. There was so much truth in his words. And I know there's all kinds of things surrounding Ye, but I think he was absolutely right when you look in, when you research pornography. All pornography is child sex trafficking. That was a truth that you cannot hide from once you know it. And so this pornography production, this was a production. This was, you know, uh, when you are creating pornography, because more information has come out about this Hart Senate Office production, pornography production, which is child sex trafficking. Um, and it's a sex cult. They absolutely had permission. That's the bigger issue here is they are given permission. It is orchestrated. It is allowed. That is the bigger uh, scandal here is the leadership role. And this is something that Team Farm Richard Halliday has been saying from the very beginning. We knew that there were collaborators that were covering up Richard's case, everything about Richard's case, the whole investigation. And so we have now, this last week, have put in a motion, put in a notice of our intentions for legal action against, um, yeah, against one of those collaborators. So I think that is really important. And we have let other people know that in the media. So we will see if the media will cover this case. It is such a huge case because Richard's case, and I don't know, okay, let me finish my sentence and then I'll tell you my thoughts. My brain is going really, really fast. Um, Richard's case is huge because the perpetrators that orchestrated, and I'm talking about, they would have to research mass shootings. They would have to have a program for the autistic adults. They would have to uh, get together the weapons, right? And and many more things. That's just an example of how they would have to orchestrate, like where were they going to do this mass shooting, um, and what was the purpose? Why did they even decide to do it? And I think that is an easy thing to see when they put forth a manifesto, and of course it is trying to keep power in certain people's hands in that area that have been, and I think that this is what Richard was exposing, which I think is also huge. And I have a list here of what I think now, bringing everything together, what we think as Team Farm Richard Halliday that Richard was exposing besides the Child Protective Service complaints. Okay, this is over and above the Child Protective Service complaints, and that would be irregularities in the monies for military projects, I think embezzlement, misuse of funds from military officials. I think there was, financial mismanagement that he was exposing. I think he was exposing what we would call human rights violations. Um, but I think it was the mistreatment of military personnel, not taking uh, seriously the rape charges, you know. So I think that he was exposing the living conditions of the soldiers. Why are they putting um, females in with the males when the ratio is so off kilter? I mean, at best, it's 9 to 1, right? That is a disaster for women. Can you imagine one woman in there with 9 men, military men, full of vim and vigor, that are learning how to kill people? Okay, they are learning how to be hardened killers, and they shouldn't be, but they are, and they should be learning how to be moral, but we know that they're not, because the barracks are marketplaces for illegal drugs. And, there's all kinds of bullying and harassment and everything. And so I think Richard was trying to expose that. And there's many more, and I'll get back with what he was trying to expose that we have put together from all of our evidence that we have collected over these 3 years. The point is that Richard's case is so big, okay? Because the same perpetrators that organized and orchestrated the Walmart mass shooting and used Patrick Crusius as their patsy, not my words, but information that we're getting in. That's the name they used. Is the same that carried out the code red murder of our son. Okay, same people. And we have the hard facts. The hard facts are in 3905 Bliss Avenue, okay, which connects the military to this civilian group, okay, to the medical examiner, to Felix Valenzuela, the defense attorney for Patrick Crusius, is connected through this address and 3705 Bliss Avenue. Okay, so Bliss Avenue, let's just say Bliss Avenue, that glorious Bliss Avenue that has connected the dots for us and connected these two cases forever. These two cases are forever connected, and they will never be separated. If you solve one, you solve the other. Okay, that's why the DA, and the AUSA's assistant district attorney, John Briggs, and I really focus on him because he's the one that's been there, right? He was there with Jaime Esparza. He was there with Yvonne Rosales. He was there now with Bill Hicks. And I'm absolutely suspicious that he was up to no good, because Loretta Lynn Hewitt saying that the whole case, the whole Patrick Crusius August 3rd, which is Dallas Hart's birthday, case of the mass shooting was in pieces. Okay, so he did not want to bring those pieces together to show the public, who are paying for all of this, paying for all of the prosecution, for the defense, paying for 4 years of millions of dollars of investigative work, or to keep this all, the cover up, to keep it all in pieces, instead of bringing it together. He didn't want the public to see what the results would be truly. And it's very clear, because the transparency is is not there. It's not there. And so these two cases are so big. And you would think that El Paso Matters would want to cover these cases and how they're connected and want to ask for our statements on it, on the record statements, and even maybe do a Zoom or whatever and cover how, this is connected. And also maybe try to debunk what we're saying by saying, oh no, these aren't connected. Okay. You would think that El Paso Matters, being neutral, should be on both sides, would want to do that, but they're not. What they're doing is retaliating against Team Find Richard Halliday. What they're doing is retaliating against Richard Halliday, the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. That's what El Paso Matters is doing. By not covering the story, they are retaliating against Richard. They're retaliating against Team Find Richard Halliday from getting closure. And not only is it that they have never covered Richard's case and Richard's being missing, right? And Danae Katzen being on the fugitive 10 most wanted and being on KTSM, which Bob Moore of El Paso Matters sells his stories to. He sells his stories to KTSM. And, he absolutely has a relationship with Felix Valenzuela, with Leilani Hart, who is very good friends with Danae Katzen, who's connected to 3905 Bliss Avenue. So, he absolutely, it's kind of like Dallas Hart telling me on the phone that he did not know who Tavita Nusa is. Tavita Nusa is a CID special agent that lost his badge, okay? But he was on Fort Bliss in that small office, okay? Small office, not more than 6 people. I think 7 people were in, a small office right there on Fort Bliss, CID, right? If you have a problem, you go to CID, right? You go to the military police, you go to CID. And, a first lieutenant platoon leader would absolutely know CID, right? Especially when Tavita Nusa, get this, was having an affair with Leilani Hart, Dallas's mother. Don't tell me that Dallas was telling the truth. Okay? And then we have screenshots with long family history because they're connected through Samoa. They're Samoan. They're both Samoan. They have the Hawaiian connection. Absolutely, James Hart knew exactly who Tavita. He never denied Tavita Nusa. And and we have the screenshots because of them being big football fans, right? And Dallas playing football. So it's very, very clear that that was also not truthful at all with us. So it's kind of like that. And Bob Moore absolutely knows Tavita Nusa, absolutely knows Leilani Hart, absolutely knows Felix Valenzuela. You cannot be a journalist in his position and not know John Briggs and not know Bill Hicks and not, these people know each other. And also Deborah Sarah West, okay? This connection with a pilot, right? A pilot that was giving lessons to Dallas Hart. So, and then she tries to separate herself. Her mother comes to bat for her and says, oh, they don't know each other at all. She doesn't know. She doesn't know Dallas at all. That is, we have the screenshots. And, they are just a sex cult. That's all they are, is a sex cult, the father of lies. It's just one lie after the other lie, and ridiculous lies, lies that you can't even get away with it. You can't even get away with it. So Bob Moore absolutely knows all these people. And for him to deny that he knows people is not truthful at all. And to say that he does not know about Richard's story, that, we have been in contact many multiple times to let him know what's going on. And he absolutely knows about Richard's case. And he knows there's something there because he is being investigated by the IRS, because he not only didn't report on Richard's case, but he retaliated against Richard by not reporting. And then he inserted himself in the case by going after our key witness. Our key witness that witnessed, he is a witness in his official office of an officer of the court. An officer of the court in his official office. He witnessed Tavita Nusa admitting to hurting. He's a witness to their tampering of Richard's file for bodily injury. Okay, and Dirty Agent Soto did not want to call him in, did not want to take down his witness statement in his official officer of the court position. And Bob Moore does not want to report on that someone with their credentials, with the office of this kind of caliber in Richard Halliday's case. And Richard Halliday's case is connected very easily when you look carefully at 3905 Bliss Avenue. Any journalist, if we can figure it out, Team Farm Richard Halliday, with our small set of resources, I guess they're big. I guess they're bigger than Bob Moore's. I guess we are better journalists than Bob Moore. And we have absolutely told Bob Moore about Leilani Hart's multiple criminal records, that she's a convicted criminal, that all about the criminal complaint that she made that was accepted by the FBI. We've told him about all of the information that we have, and he fails to do his duty, and so we contacted the IRS, and the IRS is now investigating because he's a 501c3. So he's under investigation, and I think that that's really, really important to note, because he knows these people. He knows all of these people. And that means he knows what happened to Richard. And I'm, suspicious, because of the way that he's acted, that he had maybe some bigger role in Richard's case than just not, to cover up on the media aspect of it. Okay, to be a cover for the media of this case. I think that there might be a bigger role there that he has played in Richard's case, and maybe, and just maybe, in the case of Walmart mass shooting, because absolutely something, they're not telling us a lot of things, because we're not being able to hear from a lot of the witnesses. Why not? This should be broadcast everywhere, everywhere. And yet, what shouldn't be broadcast, what shouldn't be produced, is being allowed, is given permission there at the Hart Senate office. And I think that that is very, very telling. And it might be sending a message to us, because many people in DC and on down, Christine Wormuth, these are the leadership of the Pentagon is absolutely derelict in their duty. And why, if we have the smallest military in 80 years, do we still have 44 four-star general and admiral billets? Why do we have that? Why don't we X some of them out? Why don't we X them out? Because right now we know that those 44 four-star generals and admirals are serving foreign enemies and domestic enemies of this country. It's very clear. So, because why would generals leave the military installations wide open? Why would they not secure those military installations? Why would they not, okay, leave the military installations open? Why not protect our soldiers in their barracks? Why are there so many rapes? Why are there so many sex cult productions going on? Why is there so much narcotics trafficking going on? Why is there an alcohol problem going on? And then there is a rape and a pedophilia problem going on, and 14-year-old girls being prostituted out in the barracks. So this is, thank you, Anicia, for coming on for your prayers. Thank you. Praying somebody will cover this story. Well, they've been reaching out. They've been reaching out now. So let's pray that they will cover it, because they're under immense pressure. If you are a decent journalist like you are, look at what Bob Moore did to this officer of the court, who's a key witness to Tavita Nusa. Tavita Nusa admitting to bodily injury, admitting that Richard's file was tampered with, CCTV footage gone missing. Okay. Yeah, a witness to Thomas Kane's confessions and to Leilani Hart's confessions. And they don't want to cover him. They just want to retaliate against him. Is that what their game is? Is just retaliation against witnesses, tampering with witnesses? So I think that is really just, well, think about it. Who is Bob Moore retaliating against more than any other story out there, person out there? It would be Richard. It's Richard. If you look at his news, you will see the person he is retaliating against more than anybody else would be Richard. And by using an unreliable source, a friend, I'm sure he knows Leilani Hart. I'm sure. So, yeah, that's really important news. Let me make sure I have everything else that I wanted to tell you. Yes, this John Briggs absolutely knows Bob Moore. Absolutely knows Bob Moore. So Bob Moore is really the media. They're the ones that we ask for you to write. We asked for you to write El Paso Matters, and Bob Moore cover the story, absolutely cover the story of Richard Halliday. Um, you know, let's see why they haven't covered it at all. And Richard is the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. I think that tells you everything. That they are doing whatever they can to prevent Richard's story from getting out there and what Richard was reporting on, the financial mismanagement, the abuse and mistreatment of military personnel. I think it's the rapes and the harassment um, that so many, and I reported that constantly because of the terrible living conditions that the soldiers were in, not because of the building or the room or anything, but because of the flush with weapons, the marketplace for illegal drugs, the co-ed barracks is just terrible. Um, Also, I think we have some. I guess this is breaking news, but old information that was coming in that Richard was reporting on the disposal of hazardous materials, so that they were polluting right there on Fort Bliss. So that's also an allegation that needs to be investigated in. Uh, Claims of unethical conduct, like sex cult by military officers. Also, that because Richard was saying it's really bad. It's really bad. Um, Dangerous situations in their military exercises has been reported, and so that negligence may have been in Richard's report. We need to know because there has been deadly accidents that could have been avoided, and so maybe that's what they're trying to cover up. Um, the big thing is they are trying to keep whatever Richard was complaining about from getting out. That is very, very clear. And that's what we need to find out. And they rather even commit um, commit crimes than to do what the law requires them to do in the open records and the FOIAs. So I think that's very important. We do have, uh, good news on this Rose Advent Sunday, and that is we are getting institutional support because we're getting this information in. The intelligence is coming out, and we're very, very grateful that we have um, these avenues to get the information. So that's very, very powerful. Merrick Garland. I do want to say a few things about Merrick Garland. Um, that new things that came out. Um, he took Jaime Esparza off the case of the Walmart case because Jaime Esparza was a witness to it. That's what we found out that I think is very, very important. Also, the IRS is looking into Bob Moore, but also into, I wrote it down here. Let's see if I did a good job with this IRS. Yes, here. Merrick Garland. Oh, Hunter Biden. Yeah. Bob Moore. Okay, so I thought that was really important to put together. Merrick Garland is investigating Hunter Biden and Bob Moore the same way. The IRS is investigating Hunter Biden and Bob Moore. And we thought that was a very good comparison to make. Jaime Esparza also was removed from the Walmart case because he was a witness in the case. And also, one other note that I have here that I think is very important is that the military has missed their quota again by 25%. Of course they are. So, what this means is there's no readiness. And we just heard this last week, too, that we didn't even have ammo. Yeah, this is a national security alert, a national security threat. Um, and the way we're going to solve this problem is bring back morals, and demand morals, establish morals. And, this is really, really important for the survival of this country. That's absolutely, absolutely the truth. So, okay, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm just trying to think if I had more, because we are getting the governor representative. Oh, yeah, we're getting representative support that we've been contacted by, which is really a new one that we're really grateful for. And of course, the Department of Justice now is supporting by the IRS looking into Bob Moore. So all of our work paid off on that. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with more news. And we just hope you're going to have a great night. Keep praying that we do get some media coverage in this. And also that we're thinking about launching a campaign against Bob Moore, saying no more Bob Moore, no more Bob Moore, because what he's doing is he's using taxpayers' money to run his El Paso Matters and then not give El Pasoans and the surrounding area the news, honest news. He's using his taxpayer funded platform to do a psyop on El Pasoans and the surrounding area. And, they're an arm of Media Matters. And absolutely, this is a political psyop. And, the El Pasoans have suffered enough. They have not done anything for El Pasoans but give them false witness stories. And, and interfering in the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldiers case. Absolutely appalling. And inserting himself in the Walmart case. Why? Because those two cases are forever connected. Forever. There's no separating them. Ever. And, once we solve one, we will solve the other. And that's why there is so much pushback on both cases. And they rather botch the cases than tell us the truth. Right? Very clear on that. Thank you, everyone. Share. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.